Vancouver Titans pulled off one of the biggest upsets in Overwatch League history with their clean sweep of the Boston Uprising. It left many fans wondering, how? How did they manage that? Boston hadn't even looked bad recently, now they get swept by the worst team in the league? What happened? Well, I will be breaking it down now. We open on Busan, with Boston running a pretty standard Orisa comp except without the Tracer, and Vancouver running a traditional ball comp with Lynx on the Soldier. The teams poke at each other, but ultimately Valentine cleans house and Boston caps. The rest of the round plays out basically as expected. Punk does insane on the Valentine is good on the Soldier. Stand 1 and IM37 made some notable mistakes, though, such as wasting an amp or dying early, but they looked fine. Boston here is playing a hyper-defensive comp with the Orisa and Brig, which is why it was difficult for the Titans to push in. Now going into round 2, Vancouver wants to give them a taste of their own medicine. They come out with the same comp, except that Changseek is now on the Orisa. Then Boston makes the odd swap to the Torb and Hanzo. Bad move. Not only is Valentine not that great on the Torb, it makes it so the Uprising can't really deal with the mobility of the Titans' DPS and get pincered and killed. Boston stubbornly refuses to switch off, and then it's too late. The Titans have taken round 2. Now, for round 3 both teams are switching to the Sombra. Other than that, Boston is mostly the same, while Changseek has swapped back to the Hammond. Now, Boston's strategy seems to be to open the pathway through Sombra hacks or kills from Valentine, taking point and basically not leaving it. But they fail to do that multiple times due to Changseek popping off and denying the value of the Sombra. This continues for a while as, again, Boston show off their lack of flexibility and refuse to swap, mixed in with several pop-off moments from Dalton, Changseek and Linker. However, Boston capped the point at 87%, and their strategy kicks in, with the Titans being unable to get in there and secure the necessary kills due to the defensiveness of Boston's comp. This continues for another 80% before their strategy backfires. Lynx gets a 5-man EMP and combos with Frowner to kill 3 people. Boston desperately tries to touch, but Dalton gets some picks and a stun from fire makes the EMP come in too late. The Vancouver Titans take map number 1. Now, the breadsticks buff comes in. They were already playing well, but after securing the juicy breadsticks, they unlock God mode. We go to Havana for map 2. The Titans open with a standard ball comp and the Uprising. Play Torb and Orisa again. Well, they are starting on defense here, so it might not be the worst idea, right? Well, it works for a good 2 minutes before the Titans build up their ults. We can see a running theme here that exposes the weaknesses of the Uprising's comp. They play defensively and it works up until Vancouver can build up their ultimates, which puts them in a position to get the picks they need. Also, Frowner is looking good for once and completely shut down IM37's visor. The Titans roll into map 2 with 4 minutes and the Uprising makes 0 changes. Then twice in one section, the Uprising make the same mistake. They get cornered and bunched up, get picked off by an EMP or a pulse bomb and lose the fight. However, they managed to break the curse and hold them right at the end despite being like 3 people down due to them throwing everything and the kitchen sink at the Titans. The Uprising keep them at bay through good pickoffs for like a minute and a half before the Titans open the path through a sick combo where Changseek boops Faith into the bomb. My Unbong and IM37 try to combo visor and the amplification matrix but to little effect as Lynx cleans house. They lose a few people, but ultimately Boston rolls into 3rd point. Or so you thought. Faith and stand 1 touch point in pop-off. Faith kills I shit you not 4 people and Boston clutches. Pure insanity from Faith and stand 1. We open on the 2nd round and the Uprising are still running the goddamn Orisa comp. It actually works for a while until Dalton picks off Faith with a pulse bomb, and the Titans fend them off from there. They get into a scary position where Boston invests plenty of ults, but Frowner gets like 3 kills and shuts down IM37, clutching the fight. Boston then gets a pick onto Dalton and win the point. They enter Section 2 with 3 minutes in the bank. Boston aren't really able to do much and roll through, but the Titans save it at the last minute with some hero plays by Dalton. Then with 30 seconds remaining, Boston gear up and push forward with a pretty good bomb from Punk. But they are all grouped up and, you guessed it, Linker punished them with a massive 6-man M. He pays for it with his life, but his team is easily able to follow up on it and win the map. Now, it is 2-0 in favor of the Titans. Now, here it is important to point out mentals. Boston do not look happy at all, they are down 2 maps to the winless Titans. Who'd be happy about that? Meanwhile, the Titans have their confidence massively boosted. This is the best they've ever done in a series, and it's against a relatively good team. The difference in mentals is drastic, and it shows going into the third and final map, Hanamura. The Titans sub into for the Farah and do first play. Will this backfire? Linkser has been looking quite good. We will see. Hint, it doesn't. The Titans play the ball Farah comp with Dalton on the Hanzo. And the Uprising are still playing the fucking Torborisa comp. I get that it's had some success through the series, but they have one-tricked it and are now down 2 maps against Vancouver. I think it really speaks to their lack of adaptability and flexibility that they have basically only run one single comp thus far, even when it doesn't work. Taru, Fire and Changseek pull of a good dive onto Boston while they are disjointed, kill 3 and take the first point in less than a minute. The Titans now have 6 minutes to take point 2. Taru continues to shut down Valentine, and with Dalton getting 2 picks and wiping out the Uprising's DPS, the Titans manage to take point 2 in about a minute and a half. And you can now see the clear effect of the poor mentals here. Boston sim disjointed, IM37, Valentine, Punk and my Unbongan playing like they usually do, they stick to one comp. They lack the confidence they usually have which can carry them to quality wins like against Houston and Paris. Round 2 starts and Boston waste about 20 seconds on a symbol comp before switching back to the fucking Torborisa comp. It's here we should point out how good Drew played. He just can't be killed by Punk or IM37 and continually denies any value to Valentine. He is a great player, just on a bad team for the most part. Boston continues to play like bots for 3 minutes before finally killing Taru and Dalton due to Boston finally switching their comp to double hitscan. It's here where the map goes to full insanity. Taru gets Nanud right at spawn and Titans try to hold at point 1 despite Boston already taking it. They fail and Boston steamrolls onto point with 3 minutes left. Boston capitalizes on this and takes point 2 with 2 minutes left. Compared to the Titans 4, it's a hefty task, but not impossible. The Titans hold them off for most of their time but again, Punk and Valentine shut down True, capitalize and steamroll points 3 and 4. Their new comp is great at holding off the Titans. Not only can they shut down True's Farah, but both Valentine and IM37 are skilled enough to get kills safely while letting their tanks and healers capitalize on the point. It's a good mix of defensiveness and offensiveness, of course so long as Valentine and IM37 are consistently getting kills, that is. Round 4 opens and both teams are more or less on the same comps as usual, with Dalton on the Hanzo instead of the Tracer this time. They poke each other with Taru struggling to get meaningful kills and the Uprising clearly still cautious, but ultimately they get cornered, and Taru is able to single out and kill Valentine, opening the path and leading to the Titans taking point 3 with 2.5 minutes remaining. A big fight occurs where Dalton gets some nice picks and both teams heavily invest ults, but 2CP wins out and Boston wins due to spawn advantage. And then, the return of the king. Boston goes back to the Torborisa comp with IM37 on the Hanzo, while the Titans switch to a Mirrorisa comp. Both teams take it slow, but Dalton gets 2 picks with the Dragon Strike, opening the way. Valentine tries his best, but the Titans take the point with 2 minutes remaining. Again, they were caught by ultimates due to being too bunched up. Round 5 begins and they are both playing the same comps as last time, but Taru manages to split them up with a great mirror wall and Boston can't recover. Boston cannot get a single tick in round 5. Round 6 begins with Titans playing their usual Hammond Farah comp and Uprising playing this really weird train Torb comp. Again, they get cornered and doved by Taru and Frauna, dying and losing the final map in a crushing loss to the Titans. Ultimately, this loss was due to Boston refusing to switch off the fucking Torb, Faith being picked off due to hero plays by Titans DPS, and Boston ultimately losing confidence over the course of the match. Meanwhile, the Titans DPS played exceptionally, shutting down Valentine and punishing the tanks and supports. Frauna and Changsik also had their best game of Overwatch today, with many coordinated dives that won entire maps for the team. While the Titans fell short against the Justice, they really did look good this game. Thanks for watching and remember to like and subscribe for more. I upload daily Overwatch League content and am trying to hit 100 subs by Season 5, so any subscription helps greatly. Thanks.